That is a young Josh Doan, son of Shane Doan. And when you talk about all-time Coyote greats, unanimously, it is Shane Doan. The name is synonymous with Arizona hockey. He's the all-time leader in games played, goals scored, assists, and points. But further, his loyalty and commitment to hockey in the desert is what has cemented his legacy, which made what happened 2 nights ago so special. See, after going undrafted in 2020, the Arizona Coyotes took a chance on a now 20-year-old Josh Doan with the 37th pick of the 2021 draft.
I went to Donor and I just said, listen, we're picking your son because of his ability, not his last name on the jersey.
So, after having played for ASU, before then playing for the Tucson Roadrunners, GM Bill Armstrong finally made the call. Josh Doan was going to make his NHL debut on the same team his dad spent his entire career. He was going to do it in Mullet Arena, where he was the one to score the first goal in the arena's history when it opened in 2022. The arena he and his dad dropped the first puck for an NHL game in the arena. And so, for a team that earlier on that same day was officially eliminated from playoff contention with Vegas recording a point against Nashville, for a team that doesn't even know whether its future remains in the state of Arizona, this was a glimmer of hope and pride. Truly a homegrown talent as he got his rookie lap wearing that 91. And so, as the game got going, he became the first to ever play for ASU, the Roadrunners, and now
19?
the Coyotes. He also became the first Arizona-born player to play for the Arizona Coyotes. Again,
Isn't
that in
what the
itself would have
poster
been a
said in
fairy
this
tale
video?
night. But the night was still young, and while Columbus took the lead in the first, Gaudreau to Jenner, who ripped home his 22nd of the year to open the scoring. Over in the second, it was Keller to Dursey. One touch.
The goal, so we're going to be skipping that.
The countdown to the playoffs is on, but for now, we're still in regular season mode. So, with all teams still playing, it also means we got another week packed full of action worth another look. From polite linesmen,
Offside! Thank you!
to a
It's
not so
offside.
polite Trevor
Come
Zegras,
on.
fantastic
Thank you.
sellies, bone-crushing hits, a goal going off of the butt of a referee and in, a goal
Brain
that could have
shaking
been,
shots.
and a good old-fashioned tug of war. So, with plenty to cover, let's get into it. I'll start over in Philly, where we saw the Flyers bringing over Ivan Fedotov from Russia, and this dude is huge. I've seen
We got the Russian goalie on our team. The Flyers are traitors to the NHL.
6'8", 6'7", either way, supposedly the tallest goalie in NHL history. And I mean, yeah, seeing as how tiny that net looks, I'd say that sounds about right. And while he hasn't started in an NHL game yet, we did get a look at some in-game footage.
It's a walrus!
We got the house!
I guess his nickname's gonna be the Wall.
This guy could be a problem. Then let's head over to Minnesota.
And I'm gonna be referring to him as the Big Whale. Or the Big Whale goalie. I don't know.
And you remember a few weeks back
The
when they pulled
Russian
Fleury in
goalie, the
overtime
Russian
and ended up
blue
actually
whale.
winning that game? Well, this week it was double or nothing as they pulled the goalie in OT again, but this time it didn't exactly work out the way they had hoped as the Wild, despite pushing it to overtime, this time got 0 points out of it. And this week we also saw Austin Matthews scoring his 60th goal of the season, an impressive feat, no doubt. This is an away game, by the way, but I don't know. I just feel like he could try a little harder.
I saw Austin Matthews' mullet, and it's not sweaty.
What does that mean?
It means he's not trying hard enough.
What a legend. But then let's hit some quick ones. We got Owen Allard, who would score to take the lead, and then going into the Selly line, broke into the moonwalk. Beautiful stuff. Then in the ECHL, just prospect, Oskari Salmon.
That's not what you learn in hockey school.
A fantastic selling from him, and these are just always fun to watch as he hits the goal line. Great stuff. Then we got Gavrikov making a trade, gives a puck in exchange for a giant Toblerone. And I don't know who won that one.
He's lucky he didn't bring it to this end of the bench, or else I might have grabbed it.
And if I gave you a choice, chocolate or a potato, which one are you going with? As a farm boy myself, I love this. Then Buchnevich with an OT penalty shot, and Logan Thompson flashes the left.
I didn't know next man up was farm boy. I didn't know he grew up on a farm.
With a wild save. I don't know. I think this one needs some sound. This week, we also got Ovi laying a bone-crushing hit on McCabe. We had Dylan hitting Perry into the bench, and then there was Rempe lining up
He
Ginning.
didn't go into the bench. He was just on the He was just on the what is it? He was just on the wall. The wall, and if he leaned back a little bit further, he would be on the bench. So I guess he was really shaky on the wall. Shaky.
Who wanted no part of it, sidesteps out of the way, which was similar to Marshawn, who avoided not one, but 2 hits as the Rat slithers his way out. And in Florida, it's Tarasenko to the front, and Pajot with a beautiful redirect. Just a shame it was into his own net. Speaking of strange goals, though, check this out. Cutter Gauthier dumps it in, and suddenly the puck is in the back of the net. It goes off of the ref's ass with Pietola out of his net, and they get scored on right into the Michigan net as Blake Pietola not impressed. Now, the rule here, which the ref should know, he called it a goal on the ice, but if it deflects off of the ref, this is not a good goal. And yeah, they did get it right in the end. But with that, in Boston, it was Montgomery working the boys hard. And what made me chuckle here was the goalies coming into frame long after everyone else. I don't know why. It's funny to me. Now, he was working them in preparation for their game against the Panthers.
If you want your toast buttered, give it to Swaggy in the third period.
Which, what a call there. But the game went about as you'd expect. Tkachuk with the low-key dirty backing into a guy with his skate first. I don't know. Pretty clear these teams do not like each other. But it's the kind of game the Panthers seem to always play. As with Detroit, it was Ekblad and Perron. Perron going to the bench, trying to take
They don't
Ekblad's
like
stick
each other
with
because
him,
of last year's
Ekblad distracted
playoffs.
with Raymond until he realizes
The
and is
starter
like,
rivalry.
"Have
The
you ever seen
NHL
this?
starter
Seriously,
rivalry.
give me my stick. Give it." As the two played a little tug of war. And then check this out. I would love to see this in the Nationals someday. While the refs were sorting out the penalties, these two goalies decided to keep themselves entertained. But going from the hate over to the love, we had Zibanejad with a little love for Kreider. This after Kreider finding the rebound
just
would
got a
score
little
what was
kiss in
his
the head, and
300th
then-
goal. Well,
Yeah.
until they challenged it for goalie interference. And yeah, it was not a goal. As Kreider, well, no use for that puck then, tosses it back onto the ice. But no worries, as it didn't take long before he did score his 300th for real this time, and looks at the ref. Does that one count? Another moment from that game was after Lafreniere recorded the Hattie, as, whoa, where'd that come from? It's Igor tossing his hat, getting in on the action. Some more quick ones then. We had Draisaitl let down by his stick as he inspects
Igor
it. He's not
has
upset,
a
just disappointed. And speaking of players' sticks, we had Grubauer handing one to Decord as if he's never seen one before. How does this thing even work? And sticking to the sticks after Hathaway would...
How's this player stick work? I'm used to a goalie stick, my goaliaki stick.
run into Shesterkin. He was not impressed. Smacks Hathaway's stick right into the hands of the ref. Quick reflexes. And then the last of the sticks after Zegras would get called for the nasty cross-check. He was clearly still upset about it in the box as he took it out on the penalty box camera. Which reminds me, hey Connor, say cheese. And hockey guys really are the most polite, as take a listen to the linesman here.
Offside! Thank you!
In Seattle, it's Robertson with the open net, but Bjorkstrand sliding into your girl's DMs to keep it out. And in the same game, it was Dumoulin taking out his own netminder as the Cord somehow still able to find the puck to avoid the danger. Over in Winnipeg, as Ridley Gregg would score, he gets a tap on the head, but he definitely thought that tap was from a Jets player as he gets up, not happy about it. Oh, never mind, that's my captain. And then we got Capitals captain, Ovi, in the shootout, which I think he was 0 for 7 on the year, and again, no dice here, but check out his wife's reaction in the stands. Not exactly impressed. And finally, in what was
That's her wife? She looks like she's 28.
a bit of a blowout in Detroit, we got some great stuff from the legendary Mickey Redmond.
Mickey puts his sunscreen on tomorrow.
No, you can't put that. You can't use that sunscreen. Bad for you. Is it? Bad.
Are you sure that's not Connor McDavid's girlfriend? I mean, not Connor McDavid. Connor Bedard's girlfriend?
For you. Cause you all kinds of trouble.
You just want to burn.
Huh? No, you just gotta stay out of the sun and stay at the bar.
Okay.
How do you burn yourself in the cold?
Right.
Oh, jeez. Sorry, young fella. He's almost ready to cry. Oh, jeepers creepers. There'll be better days, buddy. There you go. A little tap.
But with that, I think I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys, as always, so much for watching. I appreciate it very much. I'll leave you with this fantastic clip of Swayman glitching out. I'll see you in the next one.
Swayman's really a robot.
This is a metabolism killer. This is a metabolism killer.
Find what you're looking for on
Rempe with a big hit. Right now, Bastion is in tough shape.
That was Matt Rempe's introduction to the New Jersey Devils. One that earned him a match penalty for a hit to the head and also earned him a target on his back and an expectation to answer for it in their next meeting. And while McDermott wanted it, Rempe turned it down. And then this happened. Rempe again, this time with a hit on Siegenthaler, catching him high with the chicken wing elbow to the head, and McDermott.
The rivalry with the Rangers and the New Jersey Devils will never end. Keep the rivalry alive in New Jersey and New York.
Right after him again, but the officials had none of it. And rubbing salt in the wound, Rempe waved him goodbye as he exited the
Rempe is like, bye, bye, bye.
ice.
Goodbye.
McDermott wasn't impressed.
You don't do things like that your first year in the league, especially. I lost quite a bit of respect for him tonight.
Now, this time, Rempe would sit for 4 games as he received his first NHL suspension. But after those first 2 meetings, there was clearly bad blood. And so tonight, as the 2 rivals met up for the final time this season, everyone and their mother knew we were getting Rempe versus McDermott. What we couldn't have expected was 162 penalty minutes in the opening period. 6 fights, a full-line brawl, 8 players ejected from the
They're really getting the rivalry. Get the fire ready because get the oven ready because the rivalry has just started. It has started 2 meetings ago with the fight of who shall win the game. Sorry. Excuse me.
game. And on top of it, the coach is going at it. It was a wild one, so let's see how it went down. Now, as expected, before the puck even dropped, they were yapping at each other. And as the puck dropped, so did the gloves. But watch here in the corner. VC and Lazar were actually first to go at it, and keep that in mind. Moving on, to be honest, TNT kind of screwed up the broadcast, keeping it on the tight shots, mostly on McDermott and Rempe, so it's tough to show properly. But going to a wider angle, everyone found a dance partner. We had VC and Lazar first, Gaudreau and Ball second.
Everyone's doing the rivalry dance, also known as fighting.
Marino and Trouba with Tierney all going at it, which with more fights than officials meant we had a full-out brawl. So, of course, we'd cut to Shesterkin in the middle of it. I mean, come on. But what a scene. While all 4 other fights were over, the 2 big boys were still going at it. And they had to have been exhausted by the end of it as Rempe firing up the bench, and we had a lineup to the penalty boxes. Just look at this. What a mess. But as they were getting comfy, it was the coaches going at it. Travis Green and Peter Laviolette in a screaming match, and just when you think it's over, Green had to have said something as Laviolette takes out the gum, and you know he means it now. Got in his final words, and oh yeah, still got my gum to boot. But remember how VC and Lazar were technically the first to go at it? Well, that meant every scrap after theirs would fall under Rule 46.7. A game misconduct shall be imposed on any player assessed a major penalty for fighting after the original altercation. So anyone not in the original scrap was assessed a game misconduct for being in a secondary altercation, as suddenly the box is cleared out. In the meantime, as they sorted that out, Panarin figured he needed a drink. Goes over to Panger between the benches, and again, just a hilarious opening face-off as Rempe was all about it, and he's now been ejected in all 3 consecutive games against the Devils. Insane. And look at this. Lazar making sure his boys got their minutes, but with all...
Remke's just gonna get... He's not gonna be part of the playoffs. If the Rangers make the playoffs, he's probably gonna be fighting, getting the action ready, and probably gonna be injected for the rest of the playoffs. But if Remp's part of the NHL playoffs for the Rangers, then the playoffs are gonna get real interesting.
That out of the way now meant we could finally get to hockey, right? Well, not 5 minutes in, it was Cooley with a big hit on Smith as Smith fumbling the puck a bit as Cooley got him in the numbers pretty good and the arm went up. But Mercer went at him as him and Cooley now dropped him, and we had the 6th fight in 4.5 minutes. Now, after all was said and done, Mercer would get the instigator as he got a 10-minute misconduct. Lindgren and Smith were also sharing words, and so they quickly got a talking to. Enough. All right, so finally getting to...
All right, everybody, stop fighting or we're going to have to end this game. Do you want that? It's 0-0. Do you want that?
Let's see how it played out. The Rangers with the post, and just overall, they were dangerous. As then Fox with the pinch, shot, rebound, Lafreniere for Panarin as they scored. It's his 45th of the year, the most by an undrafted player in over 30 years, as MSG was rocking.
Panarin was drafted by the Blues, the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Hold on now. The Devils would challenge. With Fox pinching, was it out? It's close, but after review, it was a good goal, and the Rangers would go to the power play. And while they had a good look here, the Devils would kill it off. But with 4 to go, Noshik would then receive a penalty for cross-checking, so all of it meant Kakkonen had himself a busy period. And just as they killed it, Wenberg on net trickles through, and they score again. Lafreniere with his 26th makes it a 2-goal game late in the first. And while VC had a fantastic chance, short-handed, he missed it. Bad. Flicks it way over the net, and with that, it was about it for the first, so we'll head over to the second, where it was the Devils who now came alive. Hughes into Palat, and they score. A one-timer, and it's a beauty as he rips it past Shesterkin short side, and it was now a 1-goal game. The Devils were suddenly buzzing. Bratt then to the front, and there it is. Smith with his 4th of the year.
Hey, the NHL pick of whatever month is going to be interesting because we're going to see who's going to make the second round, whatever round's going to be going on.
You're off the bar and in, as Laviolette had seen enough, tries to settle the team, but to no avail. It's Bratt again, to the front again, and they score again. The no-look backhand finds Hischier, and with 3 straight, they now took their first lead of the game. Paired with some key stops on the other end, it meant that through 40, the heavily outshot Devils were up heading into the third. And while Kakinen started it where he left off, a broken stick in the Rangers' end meant Kakko was off to the races, comes down and scores. Going glove side, he beats Kakinen as we had ourselves a tied game for the third time. And from here, it could have been anyone's game with huge chances on both ends, but truthfully, the Rangers were the better team. Sustained pressure, and it leads to a penalty. Smith called for the hook, a bit of a weak call, but it was a big moment, and it's Panarin with the shot off the mask of Kakinen, who was definitely a bit shaken up. Allen's like, oh God, not now. But he was all right, and we'd play on as Panarin.
He's like, I don't want to go on to the house. I'm a little afraid of this Rangers team. This game's been frightening.
For Fox, the shot, and they score. It's redirected in front by Kreider with his 36th of the year, and the Rangers, with a pair in the third, would go up late, and they'd hold on to beat the Devils 4-3 at home. What a hockey game. They take the series sweep against the Devils in what was a fantastic throwback to old-time hockey. I loved every second of it, and listen to McDermott change his perspective after the game.
Obviously, I'm always going to have a lot of respect for him. He's a young kid. He's going to learn, and he's a big, tough, strong kid. So I always respect someone who's doing what they can to stay in this thing.
Yeah, my bully hurt me. Yeah,
watching very much.
That's what it sounded like he was saying. Okay.